Hey, checking in with Peace Talks by Jim Butcher, his 2020 uh, Dresden novel, which is number 16, but is really 16 half. It's a half a novel. And I think I should have actually been warned because I think I actually listened to an interview, kind of a fawning interview, but an interview nevertheless, with Jim Butcher. Well, I mean, not a fawning interview, but just like, pretty light. But then I kind of like, as I'm listening to this with the ever able Spike, James Marsder, doing Marsden doing the narration. It's like, oh, this is half a novel. And it's like, because I'm going like, as I'm going along, this is tracks 21 to 38. I'm going, wow, this is going a lot quicker than it usually does. Like, I feel like we should be only like maybe, 2/3 of what a usual Dresden novel is in size, but actually what it is it's the first half of a Dresden novel. So in this section, we get he's at the party, the where the Unseelie Accords, where all the big magical groups are getting together. This is a urban fantasy world where there are wizards like Harry Dresden. There are Queen Mab, the fairy queen whose force of personality and power has forced all the other groups, which are vampires, dark elves, even one human has actually signed these accords, but there's also like kind of a dragon at the party in disguise form, a kind of one of the kind of godlike kind of I think it's Odin is there, and we've seen the devil Hades. We've seen like angels in this world. They're not there because these are all semi kind of dark forces. There's vampires, white vampires, which the white vampire court, they're vampires of emotion, of basically succubus, and Harry's brother is one of them. And as we found out, he has his partner has gotten pregnant, and he for some reason has attacked the king of the dark elves. Been caught, been beaten savagely, and because of Harry's intervention, they've transferred custody of Thomas, because they had him as prisoner, to gentleman Johnny Marcone, the Baron Marcone, who was the only human signatory to the Unseelie Accords, and he is downstairs. So the part of a good hunk of this section is the breaking Thomas out of custody, and indeed they go down the laundry chute. Uh, they being Laura, his sister. I guess not anything because he's half brother to Harry, who is super sexy succubus, who of course has to get completely naked to go down the chute, because you can't, you're at a fancy dress party, you don't want to get all gooked up, because that's not going to be great for sneaking out of the party again at the end. Harry and his boxers, they get down there, they overpower the guards, and they find Thomas, who has been beaten so badly that the demon that's inside of him is feeding off of him, and he's going to shortly die if there's something isn't done quickly. They get him up, they get him back up the chute, and they cloak themselves to sneak out. And they're sneaking out, and that seems to be going successfully, when suddenly the FOMO, which are the big bads, show up, machine gun everyone outside, come in with this strange woman who is like as tall or taller than the head FOMO guy. FOMO, I'm not quite sure what actually that is for. It's some kind of dark evil people. Um, and it turns out it's the last. She reveals herself. She is the last Titan. So she is serious God, and indeed, she kicks Mab. She drives right through all of Mab's defenses, kicks her through walls, and declares war on everybody, and says, "You'll either join me against the humans, because they're desacralizing all of our things, or you're all going to die." And you're probably all going to die anyways because I am a god. And she's got one eye that's even larger, and she even kind of ticks off Odin, the Odin guy, saying like, you used to be a god. What are you doing, dirtying yourself for these vermin? That's definitely how she views these people. And so she leaves, and as she leaves, she does basically a magical EMP pulse, which disables all electricity, all kind of any kind of particularly semi complex technology in the area, leaving everybody in darkness. And it's like, holy fuck. So they get Thomas to the island, or at least they go out to the island, they go to the dock, but that is where Ebenezer, um, the the probably most powerful wizard of the White Council, also Harry's father, and unknowingly Thomas's father. Um, they, because Thomas is not father, great grandfather, and he's like, "Why are you doing this? Why are you? What does these vampires have on you that you would do this?" And it's like, "Well, I'm with Mab, so she's got me doing her work. She's basically locked me to, and like, you're not doing this." And they basically have a throwdown. They have a super fight. Harry reveals, "Yeah, he's your he's your he's your he's your grandson as well. You have two grandsons." He reels off to do a big magical blast to take out the ship. Harry whirls him around. Harry takes it in the chest, and it turns out that indeed Jim Butcher is a Star Wars fan, because he's basically done a Star Wars thing where um, it's not actually Harry. Harry's on the boat, controlling the guy, controlling his magical ectoplasmic doppelganger magically, and that got fried. And so they get away. They get to Demon Reach, the island, which is basically Alcatraz for evil demon things, where Harry happens to be the warden, and so he can protect Thomas, but he can only protect him by imprisoning him. And unfortunately, that means penitence, and it's showing him all the wrong he has done to other people, all the evil he has done to other people is the lowest level. And so he activates it, and it and Thomas screams, which freaks out Laura, his sister, who comes barreling out after him. But this is on Demon Reach, where Harry has all the power, or he can tap all the Demon Reach's power. She basically just sinks him into the dirt. Freya, who is her Valkyrie bodyguard, also tries to get at Harry, but also sinks into the dirt. They're able to kind of talk it out. Laura basically goes, "Oh, so you've basically done this for your own selfish things." It's like, no, he's my brother. This is not about me trying to get something out of you or anything like that. He's my brother. And she says, like, "Well, what happens if you die?" "Oh, so you basically made it so that I have to keep you alive in this time where it's very unlikely anyone's going to stay alive." It's like, oh, I guess so. So maybe I am actually being sneaky unknowingly, but I didn't really know. But maybe I've developed. He wonders, like, have I just developed these instincts as to live in this world, which is quite possible. So that made up for the most part, where you don't really know, like, once this is over, whether Laura might just end up trying to kill him anyways. Though he's still the Winter Knight, so he even if he gets kicked out of the Wizard Council, which he probably will after all the shenanigans of tonight, because he just sort of disappears, and Thomas has disappeared, so they're going to do the math on that one, and that he's broke him out. Though there's much other fish to fry at the moment. I have a feeling more like they'll survive the Titan, the last Titan, and then Harry will be fucked and will probably get tossed out by Mab and the White Council and everything else, and will be completely alone. At which point, all his enemies will come after him all at once, and he'll really be fucked. But at this point, it's more like he and Murphy talking as they're going back to the thing, and it's like, oh God, if the Titan does this, it's like it's going to freak out all the human beings, and it's going to be like the Salem witch trials, but times 1,000, where they will freak out and want to kill all magical stuff, which is going to put Harry and a lot of the kind of lesser magical people that he knows within the world of Chicago in danger, if they actually just survive the Titan. But so yeah, this is basically the setup, the novel for the next novel. So, I think if I'd known that going in, I would have just waited, because I don't need to be super up to date on my Harry Dresden novels. But that said, I have a feeling it probably will be coming out pretty shortly, I would think, within like maybe next year or something like that. And yeah, that's okay. I can wait until then, and I'll try and keep this in mind, and maybe I can just go back and listen to what I've talked about here, and when we come up to that novel, and if I don't bore myself to death before I read it, I'll have this to kind of come back on. Other than that, I'll try and do a little review that isn't too spoilerific, and then maybe just says, hey, to people, hey, this is half a novel, just to let you know. All right, I think I will stop there and go inside and get my snack and all that stuff. More videos later.